Last year, I had on Jason Feifer, who's the editor in chief of Entrepreneur, and he and I got to talking about digital distraction and addiction. And during our talk, he mentioned that our cultural conversations about tech addiction aren't based on any agreed upon definition of addiction. Everyone, it seems, has different definitions of it. And what was interesting is he believes that technology is not addictive. And much of what we're experiencing today is similar to what people in the 1700s called reading mania. And then in the 1800s, it was about people constantly being obsessed with their wristwatches. Then in the early 1900s, it was radio technology, then TVs, then computers.
Mhm.
And the question that kept coming up is, were any of these things that I just mentioned actual addictions? And Jason found that what we're doing is actually called pathologizing normal behavior, meaning, are these products designed to be engaging? Of course, we want Netflix or Amazon Prime to keep making those interesting shows. That's the purpose. So, what is the cost of making these things engaging? The price of progress is impacting people learning new skills, behaviors, moderate our relationships, all the things that we're trying to become. Do you agree with that premise? Is what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, and I know Jason, by the way, we've had some fabulous conversations, but I have to disagree with Jason on this one because there's a lot of psychology that has gone into the mechanisms of social media. Let's first take the algorithm. Social media used to present our feed in reverse chronological order. That means the most recent posts from our friends or anyone we were following, we would see first, all the way down to the latest post. 5, 6 years ago, they figured out a more powerful way to make the posts more enticing to keep us on the platform. And that was changing the feed from chronological to algorithmic. And what that does is it weights every single item in your post, right? So if I see a post from my friend and it says hashtag the freedom to choose, and I like that, I'm going to start seeing more content that's like the freedom to choose. When we talk about addiction, right? There is very well known and well published data on Facebook where they would actually, anytime you reacted to something with the angry button, it would have a 5 times the input to your algorithm. So let's say, for instance, something that I got angry about was the overturning of Roe v. Wade, right? But I also know that Facebook does these things, right? But if I had that happen like 5 years ago and I was just responding angry, what happens is that they continue to feed me that. They feed me that because it keeps me hooked. It keeps me connected. Oh, and it ignites my emotions. And so I do think that there's a lot of intentionality and psychology around the way that they've created this addiction. And then on top of that, it's not just the angry emoji, John. It's also, let's take, for example, the use of highly emotional words. So if I use words, for example, on Facebook that say, I'm enraged, or I'm really upset by, or I can't believe, then they show me all the content that's associated with that as well. And so I think that, again, the combination of that with the fact that we have really built up so much passive behavior around our social media use, I do think that those combinations do make up addiction. So again, respect Jason. He's the homie, but I disagree with him here.